Halftime TV viewers and subscribers, welcome to another episode, and in this one we're going to basically provide you with our reactions to that Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago game. Now this one took place in Trinidad and Tobago, and going into this, Jamaica knew that we just needed a result to keep our hopes alive for World Cup 2026. In the other game, Curacao versus Bermuda, that one ended 7-0. What that means is Curacao currently sit atop the group with Jamaica in second. Going into this particular game, Jamaica was in first on 9 points and Curacao was in second on 8 points. Trinidad and Tobago, they're virtually out of it right now because they needed a win if they were to keep their hopes alive of actually progressing through to even the playoff. Even for consideration for the playoff, they needed to win versus Jamaica. That didn't go as planned, but regardless, Trinidad gave us a good game of football, and we can see the direction that Dwight York is heading in. Jamaica, on the other hand, I can't really say that much. I can't really say that much because it was an awful display from the Reggae boys, and I'll get into it because I have quite a few to cover in this video. But before I go any further, remember, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. Also, let's keep the conversation going below this video. If you enjoy the content that Halftime TV is producing, share your thoughts below the video and let's continue chatting about it below. All right, so first and foremost, the starting lineup. It was negative. It was, I don't even know where to start. It was so awful. Seeing the starting lineup that Coach Steve McLaren put out, I know most of the folks who saw that were like, they were wondering, where did this come from? And I'll go through the starting lineup for those who didn't get the opportunity to see it from the start. Andre Blake, Mason Holgate, Richard King, Ethan Pinnock, Greg Lay. Those were the back four. Isaac Hayden in that pivot position. We then had Demari Gray playing on the right. Jonathan Russell and Bobby Reid in kind of like 8 and 10 positions. Ronaldo Cephas over on the left and Ramon Burrell leading the line. I don't know what he expected to get from this lineup. Playing Demari Gray on the right, we didn't see him any at all for this game, and overall I think the lineup just didn't look like a lineup of a manager who wanted to win a game. I think Jamaica went into this game to not lose rather than to actually win. It was there for the taking. Although Trinidad and Tobago wanted a win or needed a win, that was basically perfectly poised to create openings for the Jamaican national team had the coach been a bit more positive in his team selection and in his tactics as well, or lack thereof, because I didn't really see much in the game. No Boyz ratings. Now, I've said this time and time again in multiple videos that I've done on my channel that Coach Steve McLaren, regardless of what he says in these press conferences and in these interviews, personally, I don't think he rates Shamar Nicholson, right? And I'll go as far back as a few months ago when he included Mikel Antonio over Shamar Nicholson. Mikel Antonio, who basically had been a pundit for the best part of 3-4 months at the time, and he was included in the national setup over Shamar Nicholson. And I came on here and I said it, I do not think the coach rates Shamar Nicholson. Now, earlier this week he came out and he said he thought Shamar Nicholson was the best striker in the region. Now, let me ask you this, Coach Steve McLaren. Why is it then, in a game that we need to win, we need to get a result from, you're starting the best striker in the region on the bench? And not only starting him on the bench, you didn't even give him any minutes. Make it make sense. Again, viewers and subscribers, you make it make sense. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section. My next pointer, no spark whatsoever. The team lacked the vision. We didn't get anything whatsoever, especially in the first half. Now, in the second half, it was a little bit better, but because the bar was so low in the first half, a little bit better didn't really change much, if you get what I'm saying. Richard King, whew, I don't know where to start in that one. He picked up an injury, and that was all because of his doing. Rash for the most part. Ran in, made an attempt for a ball, missed it, got the player. Referee was a little bit lenient. A couple of minutes later, Garcia, the Trinidad and Tobago striker, basically dragged him, and in dragging him, he ended up picking up an injury and he had to be replaced by Damian Lowe. So Richard King, hopefully he's good and hopefully he'll recover and he'll be able to play in the next game. But come on, you need to do better. You're playing at the highest level these days, Richard King. You need to do better than that. Trinidad game plan was very good. They planned to attack Jamaica on their right-hand side, which is Jamaica's left-hand side, where Greg Lay and Ethan Pinnock, that side of defense. And they were good. They were good. There was little cover. And what it did as well, it gave Ronaldo Cephas that inkling in the back of his head that, hey, I need to help out these folks. Because ever since the first minute, the first attack that Trinidad and Tobago launched on Jamaica, it was down that right-hand side. And they continued throughout the entirety of the game. Ronaldo Cephas constantly having to backtrack, and in doing so, there was a little energy for him to basically penetrate the Trinidad defense on the attacking front. Overall, it was an awful first half from Jamaica. I think it was one of those where if you weren't a fan of the Reggae Boyz, or Trinidad, if you weren't a fan of the Reggae Boyz, you wouldn't watch that game. Let me just be as frank as possible. We had nothing whatsoever on the right. Ronaldo Cephas was our attacking option on the left, and I mentioned just now, Ronaldo Cephas, a lot of the times he was exhausted, having to track back to help out the defenders. On the right-hand side, we didn't get anything whatsoever from Demarai Gray, and usually we see where Demarai Gray is super effective on the left-hand side, cutting in on his right foot, or even swinging in crosses on his left boot as well. But usually he plays on the left and cuts in to get that shot away from his right boot, as we've seen with a lot of these inverted wingers these days. That wasn't the case in this game. And with the likes of Kaheem Dixon and Dujon Richards on the bench, a lot of questions as to why Demarai Gray was the one starting on the right-hand side. There were instances where Bobby Reid was out there and Demarai Gray kind of drifted it infield, but not too often. And throughout the game, it's almost as if we didn't have anything whatsoever, any attacking impetus on the right-hand side of the pitch. So Coach Steve McLaren, again, the blame is being laid at your door, because the options that you had at your disposal, we couldn't see it because of your cowardice approach in this game. Now, the second half was equally as bad. A draw really and truly flatters Jamaica, because we didn't offer anything in this game, and had Jamaica not gotten anything from the game, I think there would have been very few Reggae Boyz fans who would have been critical or would have been saying, hey, we deserve to get something, right? A draw flatters Jamaica, and even assists in football, I think they need to remove this assist thing, because Ramon Borrell, his ratings for the game, they were boosted because he got an assist. And if you ask me what the assist was, ball in the 18-yard box of the Reggae Boyz team, Ramon Borrell in clearing the ball, booted it up to the half-line mark. Ronaldo Cephas latched onto it, and moment of brilliance really, running just about 40 yards or so, cutting on the inside and sending it to the far left-hand side of the goal to beat the goalkeeper. But Ramon Borrell gets an assist for that, and that improves his game rating in a game that he was non-existent for large portions. Again, the assist rule in football, questionable in that instance. Still struggling to defend crosses in the box for Jamaica. I think it's been a concern for months and months and months, from corners, from anything that comes in from the wide. Once it's in the air, Jamaica struggles, and we saw it again. Damian Lowe, don't really say this too often, but out-muscled in the air, went down holding his head, begging for a foul from the referee, a foul that didn't come. And again, Trinidad and Tobago winning those second balls and making it count this time around. Had the Trinidad attackers been more clinical throughout this game, I think Jamaica would have been in serious problems, because they had good build-up play, the good combinations, all of that. They just couldn't find the finishing touch, and maybe that's down to quality. Who knows? It just maybe wasn't their day. And Dwight York, I think if he's given a bit more time with this Trinidad team, they may very well be onto something. So Jamaica still struggling to defend those crosses, and with Rico Henry, the Brentford wingback, coming on for a cameo. I think he came on for the last 20 minutes or so. and he is one of those players that we can actually look to in the goal there, because he actually ran past the attacker who kicked the ball, ran past him. I don't know where he was going, but completely blazed past him, and then the ball ended up in the back of the net. My final point is that Jamaica's destiny now rests in their hands, because come Tuesday at the National Stadium, Jamaica will need to win against Curacao if they are to qualify automatically for the 2026 World Cup. Now, had Jamaica won this game against Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica would go to the National Stadium knowing that, hey, we can get a draw and then we would still progress. But that's not the case. Curacao, they got the job done. They beat Bermuda handsomely too, 7-0, very convincingly. And when they turn up at the National Stadium on Tuesday, they will be looking to go into that one either to get a draw or to win. Knowing Dick Advocaat, he's going in there to win, and Jamaica needing a win will leave a lot of gaps in that pitch, and those gaps will be there for the Bacuna brothers to exploit. So Jamaica, a game to forget, really. I don't know if Hurricane Melissa took all the coach's tactics with her, but I didn't see any tactics whatsoever in this game against Trinidad and Tobago. It was boring, it was flat, it was awful, and I think if Jamaica is to make it to the 2026 World Cup, they will need to improve significantly in that game against Curacao on Tuesday. Remember, Curacao, they've already beaten us, so they have one up on Jamaica, and they will be going into that game on Tuesday knowing that Jamaica can be beaten, no fear factor whatsoever. And on the back of this performance against Trinidad, Dick Advocaat will know that his team can get a result at the National Stadium. We need to do better. We need to do better. And even if we end up going to the World Cup, I am still not convinced by these performances. Coach Steve McLaren, he needs to improve, and he needs to improve real quick, because at this rate, even if we get to the World Cup, we'll just be going as participants. We'll just be going to make up numbers. Awful football, haram ball, some call it, but we definitely need to work on it because the fans aren't happy, the fans aren't impressed. But in the end, 1-1 draw against Trinidad and Tobago. Jamaica secures another point. They're up to 10 points now, and they need a win against Curacao in the next game if they are to progress automatically to the 2026 World Cup. Halftime TV here saying don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. Until next time.